Welcome into episode 8 of the Sneakers and Cleats podcast. As always, I'm your host, Matt Roy, joined by a guest today, Rocky. How are you?
Very hungry.
Very hungry. You've been up since what time?
5:30 a.m.
That's gross. Rocky is one of our assignment desk editors here at WOAI KBB. He gets here at 5 o'clock in the morning sometimes.
Yeah, when I feel like it.
And so we're recording this at about 1:30, and he is very hungry. So we're going to get him out of here soon. But something very exciting, we have a new open that Paul, one of our photogs, made for us. So we're going to play that, and from now on, when you click play on this podcast, this is what you'll hear, unless they make us a new one. But for now, this is what you'll hear.
The San Antonio Spurs select Victor Wembanyama.
How about them Cowboys?
Wimpy for three. Is in the air, and it is caught. Oh my God!
Sneakers and Cleats, the podcast. My main man Paul made that for us, so that's nice of him. Got a loaded docket here with Rocky and I for this 8th episode of Sneakers and Cleats. People think it's a dead period in sports, and there's nothing of the sort, especially as we go into training camp. So we're going to talk downtown stadium in San Antonio, what the Spurs super team is, something I saw on Twitter I thought would be interesting to talk about. Plus Tony Pollard not getting a long-term extension with the Cowboys, as well as the state of the running back position in the NFL, which is pretty crappy. Plus, let's rank our top 10 quarterbacks, because why the hell not? We need something to talk about, and that's always fun. So, plus, I think you'll hate my list. So,
Oh, God.
as a quick reminder, you can download, rate, review, and subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. Thank you for all the support. As I said, I am Matt Roy. I am not joined by Don Harris or Chuck Migatinick today. Chuck is on vacation, so I'm not going to bug him, and Don has had a very busy day, so we're going to leave him alone as well. But we have Rocky Garza. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, born and raised here for 27 years, man. And one big fun fact about me is I've never seen the Cowboys win a Super Bowl in my lifetime.
Yeah, you've barely seen him win any playoff games.
Yeah, barely. At least I have the Spurs, though, so that's good for me.
I mean, that makes up for it a little bit, right?
Yeah. And I probably will never see them win a Super Bowl, honestly.
Damn.
Yeah,
Damn.
I mean, I'm not that fake kind of fan. I'm kind of optimistic, I
Are
get my
you?
hopes up.
You don't seem like
I
it.
mean, I kind of am, but I mean, it's just like get my hopes up, and then I get let down, and it's just a whole, just nonstop cycle.
Well, let's talk about your Cowboys, because I woke up to headlines made today. This wasn't on my original rundown that I made yesterday, because I woke up this morning and Zack Martin now is apparently requesting a new contract. And then I started diving into the specifics of it, and it makes a lot of sense why he needs one. He is the best guard in the league, and he has been since he came into the league in 2014?
Yeah, 14.
14? I think he has more All-Pro appearances and Pro Bowl appearances than he does holding calls ever since he came into the league. He was announced today that he is part of the 99 club in Madden, and he is the only interior offensive lineman that's a 99. Mm-hmm. And he's the 8th highest paid guard in the league. Thoughts?
The Cowboys better give that man whatever he wants, because, I mean, I understand, people will say, well, you got to spread the money throughout everywhere, and some certain people don't deserve as much. But, I mean, dude, it's Zack freaking Martin, man. Like, this guy is a legend, Hall of Fame. He's one of arguably...
He's going to walk into the Hall of Fame.
Oh, exactly. And he's one of arguably your best, linemen in Cowboys history. I mean, there's no reason why you shouldn't be paying this guy. And I think they always just reconstructed his contract year after year after year, and now just caught up to them, and he deserves to get paid.
But the thing is, they're in such a bad spot with contracts. They still need to re-sign Trayvon Diggs, which they've said they want to do. They want to re-sign CeeDee Lamb. They want to restructure Dak's contract. Maybe they want to sign Tony Pollard. Who knows?
Yeah.
But they have plenty of guys that need the money and need to be re-signed. This is the last thing they needed as they were about to go into training camp. They got Micah Parsons coming up next year, too, and they're going to throw $30 million a year at him.
Yeah, no, and it's just they're going to have to make hard decisions, and you may see a guy, that's one of the favorites of elite players leave from the Cowboys. I mean, that's just the reality of it. You have to take care of that advantage of that rookie deal in that window. And Cowboys had chances. Cowboys could have won last year against the 49ers, but they just beat themselves.
I mean, it reminds me of that DeMarcus Ware situation where they wanted him back, but they had a certain price point in mind. And once the Broncos offered him a little bit more than that price point, they were like, even though he's a franchise staple and he's always going to be a Cowboy, we got to let him go.
Exactly. And all those names you mentioned, if I had to really just kind of look in the future and guess who would be that guy that would kind of let go, I would imagine Trayvon Diggs.
That'd be my guy to kick the can down the road, man.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a good cornerback. Don't get me wrong. He's a playmaker. When he doesn't make plays, the other team does, though.
Exactly.
And like he allows too many big offensive plays when he's going for the interception. He's going for that ball hawk kind of thing. You saw it with the 49ers in the divisional round where he dropped the pick from Brock Purdy that would have changed the game. And so if he's not making those big plays, what's he really doing there? And especially with how much corners are getting paid right now, that's the one that I see that might be able to be let go and draft his replacement.
Yeah, no, and I love the guy, but I just feel like the cornerback position is easily replaceable because you don't find a Micah Parsons everywhere you go, man. I mean, this guy's arguably top 2 already. People are saying he's a top player overall in the NFL. It's like that's a big accomplishment from what he went from, just coming out of Penn State, kind of just a freakish linebacker to this.
I mean, if we're going to talk about Madden ratings, I mean, Zack Martin's 99, Micah Parsons, I believe, is a 97, and the only 2 people he's behind is Myles Garrett and Aaron Donald, who's also part of the 99 club. Like, I would argue he's better than Myles Garrett, but if you're up there with those 3 players, I think you're doing something right.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And it's just Aaron Donald's on a new level, but, I mean, Micah's really closely approaching it, man.
But, I mean, talking about Zack Martin, they've got a lot of young guys on that offensive line. Zack Martin is the old head. He's the one, him and Tyron Smith are the only holdovers from that Travis Frederick great offensive line from a couple of years ago. And Tyron Smith, this is his last season.
Oh, for sure.
There's no doubt about that in my mind, at least. Tyler Biadasz is going to be coming up, and that's another guy that they're going to have to re-sign. But when you look at it, Zack Martin's 32 years old. Is he worth $21 million a year? That's what Corey Lindstrom's getting is 20.5. That's what Quentin Nelson's getting is $20 million. Is Zack Martin worth $21 million a year as he heads into his age 32 season?
1,000%. I mean,
why? Why? It's a guard.
I mean, you're not going to find a Zack Martin out there. I mean, who are you going to go? You're going to have an inexperienced offensive line, and you're going to see Dak just running for his life like he did, in this past year.
I mean, you got Terrence Steele, who's playing right tackle right now. You still got Tyler Smith. Tyler Biadasz is holding down. He's really, really good. He's not Travis Frederick good, but he's really freaking good at center. They need some help if Zack Martin's this disgruntled. But I don't know what they can do this year.
I mean, they're going to have to figure it out soon because if he's going to hold out, I mean, what are you going to do? And who are you going to throw in that's going to be, giving Dak that comfortability in front of him?
They were also talking about using training camp as that time to re-sign and sign those extensions with CD, Terrence Steele, and Trayvon Diggs. They did not need this headache. When we all thought that we were going to go into training camp and everything was going to be fine, their best player is making a fuss. And he even changed his profile picture today to the 99 right when this news came out. Like Adam Schefter released it, and then like a half hour later, he changed his profile picture on Twitter to his Madden picture where it had a 99 overall next to him. And I was just like, damn, savage. Shots fired.
Hey, I don't blame him, man. Man wants his money.
Well, I think they need to restructure it, but it's like you don't have that much money left.
I think they're going to restructure and kind of put the money more down the line. I mean, that's what they keep doing, and they're just probably going to do that and give more money, just bonuses and kind of more guaranteed money up front.
Yeah, I mean, knowing the Cowboys, they'll figure something out this offseason, but it's a headache they didn't need.
Oh, 100%.
Well, let's make some headlines. So, it's always fun to rank stuff in the offseason. I tasked Rocky with coming up with his quarterback rankings after ESPN came out with their top 10. So, top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL. ESPN's list is this. Number 1, Patrick Mahomes. Number 2, Joe Burrow. Number 3, Josh Allen. Number 4, Aaron Rodgers. Number 5, Justin Herbert. 6, Jalen Hurts. 7, Lamar Jackson. 8, Trevor Lawrence. 9, Dak. 10, Stafford. Before we jump into ours, what were your thoughts on that?
I mean, the one guy that I just feel like shouldn't be up there. I know he's super uber talented, but he's been having injuries and he's super iffy this year just because of his elbow. Is Stafford. I don't know about Stafford, man. I mean, he's getting older. He's on the older side, and he can still lead a team. But I mean, this guy's on his shoulder. I mean, not shoulder, elbow injury. And so, what are you gonna do if he goes down? I mean, yeah, they had Baker Mayfield, but they still were a bad team. But I guess the only other disagreement I have with that rankings also is I would likely move Jalen Hurts up at least 5. I mean, Herbert is a hell of a quarterback. Don't get me wrong, and he's going to be a better quarterback fantasy-wise for all those fantasy goers with Kellen Moore there and a fantasy-friendly offense. But Jalen Hurts showed what he can do. I mean, is the offensive coordinator the reason why he did it? Who knows? But Jalen Hurts will let them to the Super Bowl, and without them, they're probably not there.
All right, let's hear yours. Give me 1 to 10. Actually, give me 1 through 5 first.
So
I think we agree on most of the top 5.
So 1 through 4 is pretty much the same. Mahomes, Burrow, Allen, Rodgers. But my number 5 is Hurts.
Okay.
As I mentioned, Hurts led them to the Super Bowl. And as much as I hate saying it because I'm a diehard Cowboys fan, he's a really good quarterback. I mean, I always loved watching him in college. I didn't like when watching him at OU when he played UT. But I mean, it is what it is. But you have to give him his respect. I mean, there was someone else that was top 5 previous, but he hadn't been playing. But I'll go with you. What do you got?
All right, for my top 5, I got Mahomes. Duh. I can't believe that was actually a question last year. It's like, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow. No, it's Patrick, and it probably will be for the next 15 years. 2, I got Burrow because he's swaggy, and he's the second best quarterback in the league. Like, if there's someone that I want the ball in his hands with 1 minute left, it's going to be either him or Patrick Mahomes.
And they're both so nonchalant about it.
Plus, his weapons make him so good. So I want to see what happens when that receiving core gets broken up. But that's not going to happen this year. So as of this year, he's my number 2. Jalen Hurts is my number 3.
Okay.
He had an incredible year. He has all the tools. He has the smarts. He has the maturity. He has the weapons. He has the legs. I'm worried about injury. Very worried about injury with him because of how many hits he takes. But he kind of just has that perfect storm. He has Nick Sirianni. I'm curious as to how he's going to do with the new offensive coordinator, but Nick Sirianni is the one that calls the plays anyway, so I'm not really worried about too much turnover on the offense. He has Jason Kelce coming back, and that's the stabilizer on the offensive line. Everything is lining up for him to have another incredible year, and I think what he did last year allows, and being second in the MVP voting, allows him to come in and be number 3. I got Herbert at 4.
Ooh.
It pains me. I'm a Bronco fan. It pains me to have 2 quarterbacks in the top 5 or top 4 from my division. But damn, he's so good. He has so much talent, and the only thing that's holding him back is his freaking head coach.
Hey.
Brandon Staley is just a freaking mess, man, and he's the reason that they're losing these games. I blame Brandon Staley last year for that collapse against the Jags.
Dude, I was just about to bring that up. And one thing before you tell me your 5 is I think the most interesting quarterback matchup for the future besides Mahomes, Burrow. I like watching Herbert versus T-Law. T-Law showed up, and even though it was more of a mess on the Chargers, he showed up in that playoff game and led the Jaguars over. I mean, I know they lost the next week, but still, I love watching them both.
And then I got Allen at 5. It's the red zone turnovers for me. Like he reminds me a lot of a late 90s Kurt Warner, where it's like, I don't care how many times we turn over the ball, we're going to score 1,000 points.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? You can't every time. And you need to be safe with the ball and not turn the ball over in the red zone. And so it's kind of just that thing where it's like, he's the gunslinger. He reminds me of Brett Favre, reminds me of Kurt Warner. But if you want to be a great quarterback, Brett Favre only won 1 Super Bowl. Kurt Warner only won 1 Super Bowl. You got to step up.
Now, did you have Josh Allen higher last season before the turnovers?
I had him going 3.
3?
I had him 3 last year. So that's 5 for me. 6, I got Lamar.
Okay, I respect that.
I don't like the injury concern. When he's on the field, he's obviously amazing. Still worries me a little bit about his passing ability. But with him, Odell this year, Mark Andrews coming back, still got J.K. Dobbins, got the weapons. He's got the offensive line. Ronnie Stanley is healthy now. So I think I trust Lamar a little bit more than I trust the rest of the guys on this list. But what's your 6?
Herbert.
Okay. That makes sense. 7?
T-Law.
I got T-Law at 7.
8's Lamar for me.
Okay, well, T-Law is the one that jumped in from last year. Obviously, with Urban Meyer, he was horrible. And I think, like, I'm not breaking any new ground here. Last year was his rookie year. Like, throw his rookie year out. He came in. Him and Doug Peterson are a match made in heaven. Put Calvin Ridley on this team this year with Christian Kirk, with Evan Ingram, with Clemson running back Travis Etienne. These guys are on fire, and they are going to be a force to be reckoned with this year because of T-Law.
And before the Cowboys hired Mike McCarthy, I wanted the Cowboys to get Doug Peterson so bad.
Yeah.
I love Doug Peterson.
I love Doug. He's such a good offensive mind.
Even though he was with Philly, I just loved watching him, and I was like, please just let him get with Dak. But
all right, 8, I got A-Raj.
I got Lamar.
I can't put A-Raj any higher than 8.
I mean, reason being I put Rodgers 5 is because it's God-gifted talent, man.
He's 40 years old, almost. Is he? Something close to 40 years old.
And if he's playing your Broncos, you're still scared with him on a 2-minute
Absolutely not. I have Russ.
Bronco Nation.
Let's ride. I want to see what he can do on a new team. If he was still on the Packers with the same roster or maybe a little bit different of a roster, I think I would rate him higher. Mm-hmm. But I want to see how he meshes with all these new guys, because what Aaron Rodgers does is he is very timing oriented, and he needs to practice with these guys. He needs to get the timing down. That's why it's a good thing Alan Lazard came over. But I want to see how he is with Garrett Wilson. He could prove me wrong and be the best. He could win MVP again this year. I have no doubt that Aaron Rodgers could win MVP again this year.
Yeah.
But I need to see it.
No, that makes sense. And it should be interesting, that Jets team, and especially them being a Hard Knocks.
Oh, it's going to be a mess.
It's going to be interesting watching them. Did you see what Aaron Rodgers said when they asked him about Hard Knocks?
Cramming it down their throat.
Yeah, that. And he said that he wants to meet the guy who does, like, the narration.
Right. Chuck and I talked about this a little while ago. I've never watched one second of Hard Knocks.
Really?
Ever. But I might watch this year.
Was there a reason why?
I don't have HBO, first of all.
Oh,
but no, besides that, no. I just never really had interest in watching.
I mean, I only watched the Cowboys one last year.
All right, give me 9 and 10.
Dak and Stafford.
So give me your whole list.
So I have Mahomes 1, Burrow 2, Allen 3, Rodgers 4, Hurts 5, Herbert 6, T-Law 7, Lamar 8, 9 Dak, and then 10 Stafford.
Why Dak and Stafford?
So the way I see it, I understand, people are like, well, Dak's a turnover quarterback. And he did throw, stats don't lie, he did throw a lot of picks. But without Dak, when people are like, let's move on from him, where do the Cowboys go, realistically? I mean, there's a lot of factors that contributed to Dak's inaccuracies. And, he fields a team. Last season when he had his receivers in week 1, he had Dennis Houston as his wide receiver 1. Are you expected to succeed? I mean, and then he has O-line problems, and then he had an old running back with Zeke who can't get a damn yard. And so but then like eventually it turned up down the road. But like Dak's a gunslinger, like kind of like how you mentioned that Kurt Warner. I kind of like see it in a way because he's gonna take those risks. I mean, do you want a guy who's kind of like Daniel Jones just checking it down? What is Daniel Jones gonna do now without Saquon if he doesn't show up? He's gonna. Who's he going to check it down to? Noah Dre?
I guess.
But I mean, without Dak, the Cowboys don't go anywhere.
Dalton Schultz ain't there this year. So
I think they'll be fine still.
All right. I'll just say it. I don't have Dak in my top 10.
I mean, I respect it. Not a lot of people do.
I don't have Dak. Well, I mean, ESPN has him at 9. I got him at 11. He's my first man off. Mm-hmm. But the 2 I have above him, I think, is going to be a little bit of a talking point. I have Jared Goff at 9 and Kirk Cousins at 10.
Why Jared Goff?
Did you see the Lions last year?
I mean, I did. I did, yeah.
Did you see how well he played last year?
I could argue I'd put Jared Goff for Stafford just because Stafford
27 touchdowns last year. I think he only had 6 picks or 7 picks, something like that. Or maybe it was 9. Anyway, it was way less than Dak. They're primed to take a step forward this year. Mm-hmm. Jared Goff played like a number 1 pick last year. He played out of his freaking mind. And Kirk Cousins, he's steadily been climbing, and I love him and Kevin O'Connell. Those weapons with Jay Jettas, they're very, very problematic for everybody in the NFC. The NFC's wide open.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
And I just don't think that Dak has it in him not to turn the ball over. 4 of his 7 seasons have been over 10 interceptions.
Mm-hmm.
This year, he said he's not going to have 10 interceptions. Maybe he'll have 20. But I can't trust him. I can't trust him. He has 2 playoff wins in his career. That's the same amount Blake Bortles has.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said it earlier, you've never seen your team win a Super Bowl. He's not going to get them there. I think I've come to the conclusion he's not going to get them there, and that he is a less than top 10 quarterback, but above top 20. You know?
Yeah, and see, I could throw Goff in there, but the only reason I don't include Kirk in there is because of his playoff resume. Also, I just feel like in primetime, Kirk is not that guy.
I mean, he was last year on Thanksgiving. Prime time.
but then you also, I agree with you. I mean, as much as I love Dak, great guy. I never met him, but you can see what he's done in the community and every that. Dak's not going to lead them to the playoffs.
He seems like a
Super Bowl.
He seems like a good dude, and I'm not.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with his character or anything of that nature. It's just I don't think that he's a Super Bowl winning quarterback, and I don't think he's going to lead the Cowboys to a Super Bowl.
Now, I always ask this. You don't think he's going to lead them to the Super Bowl, but could there be a way that the Cowboys can go to the Super Bowl even if he's at the home? Like if they have a really good stellar defense, or they utilize running back, kind of just feed the ball more.
I mean, that's what Mac has talked about a little bit this year,
Yeah.
is wanting to have a more balanced offense, kind of take the ball out of Dak's hands a little bit more, give it to Pollard, give it to Rojo, give it to all the running backs that they have. But even that, to me, is an indictment on the quarterback.
Because, I mean, arguably, the one team I think of is the Ravens when they won the Super Bowl. Was Joe Flacco elite?
I don't want to talk about that one.
But you have to think about it. I mean,
the Mile High Miracle still haunts me to this day.
but you have to think.
Raheem Moore.
Yeah.
Raheem Moore misplaying that heave to Jacoby Jones, coming up 5 yards short with his. I can't do it, guys. I can't. I'm gonna cuss on this podcast if I talk about this anymore.
But that's just the way I see it. Is like there can be a way, but it has to be led by a committee, and there has to be a lot of lucky breaks. A lot of things just have to happen to get Dak to play.
So I lived under the philosophy that you didn't need a really good quarterback to win the Super Bowl for a really long time. I'll be the first to tell you that the Broncos won a Super Bowl in 2015-16 with a bad quarterback.
Yes.
Peyton Manning was a bad quarterback then.
100%.
And I'll be the first to admit it to you. I'm past that now. We're past the time where you can't win where you have to have like a mediocre quarterback. You have to have a great quarterback now to win a Super Bowl, because it's so pass heavy.
Oh yeah. And
so Dak, I don't think out of the top 10, I don't think Kirk will ever win one. I don't think Jared Goff will ever win one. I don't think Dak will ever win one. Aaron Rodgers, I don't think he'll win another one. I would say only the top 7 quarterbacks are going to win a Super Bowl this year or next year in the coming season.
Yeah, and going off that, I mean, I could agree to that, but it's just like you have good to great guys, quarterbacks. Some of the lists compile it, but then you have those elite guys. I just feel like can take you. You have a Mahomes, a Burrow, and Allen, Hurts. But I mean, if I had to really narrow it down to just the 5, I would say Mahomes, Burrow, Allen, Hurts, and just a wild card is Herbert. I mean, I'm excited. Herbert is the most exciting quarterback for me this coming year, just because to see what he can do with natural, competent offensive coordinator.
Yeah, Kellen Moore's going to help him a lot.
Yeah. So, but I just think we're going to see for a while. And what excites me also is we're going to see like this generation of how we had the Brady, Peyton Manning rivalries. You're going to see Mahomes, Burrow, Mahomes, Allen. And I think, it's going to be fascinating to watch the AFC. I mean, I feel like AFCs are going to be taking titles for most of these next coming years.
All right. So, number 10, I lied to everybody. It's actually Russell Wilson. Let's get on to the Tony Pollard news that happened on Monday. It wasn't just Tony Pollard, though. And the crappiest part about all of it is that the running back position has been devalued to the point where it is now. Tony Pollard is going to be, I think, 3rd in average ABV, average salary, along with the other 2 guys, Josh Jacobs and Saquon Barkley, because they signed those tags. You have Joe Mixon taking less money to stay with his team. You have Derrick Henry tweeting out. You have Christian McCaffrey tweeting out the state of this position. Austin Eckler, who actually played against in college, very nice guy, tweeting out their displeasure with this, but the stats are what they are.
Mm-hmm.
You can and will win if you're not paying your running back. I don't know how it changes.
And I wish I had the magic cord to tell you how it changes. And I think just like, so people to like just put it in the perspective, the most guaranteed money that, can you guess which running back's getting the most guaranteed money this coming season?
Bijan Robinson.
Yep. And that's crazy. He's a rookie.
Well, that's only because of the rookie pay scale.
No, exactly. And that's just a crazy thing to think because, I mean, if you think about it, this past offseason, the running back that kind of got paid was Miles Sanders. And it was
$6 million a year.
Yeah, exactly. That's not even, up there. But I think it's just going to stay like this for a while because, I mean, you saw back then with the Todd Gurley's of the road and Zeke's of the contracts and Christian McCaffrey, arguably, they don't want to pay the running backs anymore. I mean, it's just, you can just find them in the draft.
It's just so annoying, though, because it's like, not even annoying to me. I guess annoying is probably the wrong word to use, but running back used to be the glamour position.
Mm-hmm.
Used to be. It changed when Zeke got his deal. Because 1 year later, he was boo-boo. And after that, and then after Le'Veon Bell held out that entire year and then got that deal from the Jets, guess what happened? He stunk.
Mm-hmm.
Ever since those two, Nick Chubb's the last one to get a big deal. It's been 700 and some odd days. Since Nick Chubb got his deal. It's just really, really unfortunate that the world sees running backs this way now when you have guys that are such playmakers and so good. Austin Eckler will win you a fantasy league by himself.
1,000%.
He did last year for me.
Same.
So, but he's arguing and trying to fight for $2 million when you have not Zack Martin. Zack Martin's a bad example. You have wide receiver threes that are making more than Austin Eckler. That's just disappointing, man.
And I think going back to what you said, it's just such a pass-heavy league. And that's one of the aspects of it because the game's revolving. And nowadays, when you see in the draft, like the main question is talent evaluators be like, can this guy catch out of the backfield? And in the past, you had those guys, those unicorns that could catch out of the backfield. And I think one running back that I think of right away that kind of lived in the wrong era was Reggie Bush. Reggie, was with New Orleans and bounced around some other teams, but he never got to live with the hype. But imagine if he was in this era. I mean, he probably wouldn't get paid either, but he'd be one of the top running backs still.
Last 5 years, the running back or the leading rusher on the Super Bowl winning team last year, Isaiah Pacheco. Mm-hmm. He's making less than $1 million. Cam Akers made a little bit more than $1 million. Leonard Fournette, $2 million with the Bucks. He got paid more as a rookie when he got drafted by the Jags. Mm-hmm. Damian Williams with the Chiefs, a little bit more than $1 million, 1.05. Sony Michel with the Patriots, less than $500,000 is what they're paying these running backs, and they're winning the Super Bowl. It's unbelievable, and I don't know what can be done, but any Cowboys fan should relish in seeing Tony Pollard because you're not going to see him again next year.
Oh yeah, and everybody accepted that fact. I mean, I was like looking at running backs already in next year's draft, kind of just thinking who they're going to go. I mean, I like Malik Davis, who's behind Pollard, and
you better because you're going to need him next year.
No, and I will. And me personally, you talk about Rojo. I don't think Rojo was going to make it. I do like Deuce Vaughn as well, but he is little. But I just want to see what they're going to do. But yeah, I don't see Tony Pollard living in the Cowboys uniform next year.
I mean, and it's going to be a Dalton Schultz situation. I said it on air last night. Dalton Schultz got the franchise tag from the Cowboys last season. Played for 1 year. Guess where he is? The Texans. Mm-hmm. They're not going to pay that position because guess what there is in the draft? Tight ends. The only teams that are going to draft tight ends high are teams that think that there's a Travis Kelce or a George Kittle or someone in there. Tight end is the next running back because there's a billion of them. And you got to see, and you get one cheap, you hold on to him for 5 years, and then you get another one. It sucks.
I was say, would you also say arguably wide receiver is going to be up next also?
No, because I think wide receiver is the glamour position now. It has always been kind of a glamour position with Michael Irvin and Randy Moss and all those guys. But wide receiver is becoming so pivotal in the NFL. You need three now. So whether it's the Bengals, whether it's the Broncos, whether it's anybody, that's the position that's going to step up now. They are the new running back. Mm-hmm. And it kind of sucks that it's that way, but it is what it is.
Yeah, no, I have to agree.
So let's get to the Spurs. A lot of talk about a new downtown stadium, but I don't know why everyone's so shook up about this, because it's like, did you not see this coming?
I mean, everyone had to know this was coming. It was reported Wemby was bringing about a $500 million impact. And do you think he was going to stay at AT&T Center forever? Most likely not. I mean, there's really no development around there. And it sucks. I mean, I wish there was. I wish, the Spurs would, kind of tackle it. But, I mean, it is what it is. And even if that means the AT&T Center stays vacant or gets knocked down, I mean, I doubt it gets knocked down.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen.
But stays vacant in a sense. I mean, they're going to have to move eventually.
Well, you know what stinks about it is that when there is another one, another center, they want to build it south of the Alamo Dome.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to have the Alamo Dome with a mouth to feed. They're going to have this new stadium with a mouth to feed. They're going to have a baseball field with a mouth to feed, and they're going to have the AT&T Center with a mouth to feed. The AT&T Center is going to end up like the old Houston Alamo Dome, where it's just run down and it's costing taxpayers to keep it maintained.
Uh-huh.
What else? What are you going to get there? If I was an act, and if, say, I'm Taylor Swift or whoever, and I'm going to go on a concert tour, where am I going to play? The AT&T Center? Or am I going to play at a new stadium downtown?
New stadium.
Exactly. So that AT&T Center then is just a $250 million doorstop at that point.
It's going to be used for the rodeo.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and that brings in a lot of business, but it ain't worth that, you know. So let's Don talked about this a little bit last night on air, and in his extra point. So let's hear from Don real quick, and then we will get right back to it. So let's hear from Don.
Let's be honest. Downtown is the right place for both baseball and the Spurs, and progress is the right thing for San Antonio. The writing was on the wall when the new Missions owners and the Spurs owners became one and the same. The talk has accelerated with the addition of Victor Wembanyama, who is only guaranteed to be a Spur for 5 years. He will soon practice at the Rocket La Cantera, a facility that will open as the best of its kind, a project years in the making with the future in mind. And that's what the stadium discussion comes down to. See the future or live in the past. County leaders say the AT&T Center is perfectly fine, and it is, for now. When it was built, the county stepped up when the city would not, and it saved the Spurs from leaving. But it's 20 years old now, it's out of the way, and county leaders protecting their own interest is understandable. But they likely know better. The future is downtown. Imagine a complex just south of the Alamo Dome with a new arena and a baseball stadium across the way where the Institute of Culture sits now. Or near San Pedro Creek, an entire entertainment district with restaurants and retail, residential and more, all within walking distance and with access to new modern transit. San Antonio now has the power players to make that happen. Developers, civic leaders, and big-name investors, all who love this town and who have a vision for the future. It takes visionaries like McAllister and McCombs and Cisneros and Winder to overcome the short-sighted naysayers. It's funny how we don't remember their names. Now, who will pay for what and will be discussed and debated, and the devil will be in the details. But the future of sports in San Antonio is a multi-stadium downtown district that pushes our city forward. After all, we can't be whining about Austin if we're not willing to do better. So this stadium dream will happen because it has to, and because it's what great cities do.
Don talked to the mayor about this right before the draft, and he's like, I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm already in conversations with the Spurs. But you see people like Councilman, District 2 Councilman Jalen McKee Rodriguez yesterday was like, we were supposed to develop the east side, and he's for the east side. Obviously, he's a little biased for that. So he was like, we're supposed to develop the east side with the AT&T Center. We're supposed to develop everything around it. None of that happened. Nothing. Literally. There's a Coca-Cola factory there and like 2 little taco stands, and that's it. Mm. Is that going to happen again? Like with downtown? Like, why did that happen in the first place, I guess, is what they have to get to the bottom of, and how can they prevent that from happening if you're going to use acres and acres and acres of land and premium real estate downtown by the Alamo Dome to build a new stadium?
I think this time it's going to be different because, I mean, you already had the city trying to tackle, bringing in college kids and kind of utilizing UTSA as its factors. Their hope is let's build these, condos and apartments to get these college kids to make it more of a college town, which I'm all for. I know some people are like, well, I don't want to change San Antonio. I want to keep it the way it is. But you have to evolutionize. Growing and developing the city is only going to be beneficial for people. You can't just keep it old and run down and real historical. And there's nothing wrong with that. Being from San Antonio, but the thing is, I think it's good that we want to tackle those efforts, and I think it'll be good, different this time around because you never would have thought last year we were going to get Wembanyama. No one did. We wanted a tank. We had people, team playing, but then it happened, and now this is like a once in a generational prospect that you get, and it's kind of just brings that feeling of the Tim Duncan eras. But this guy is bigger than Tim Duncan, name wise, and you just see how much value he's going to bring in. So why not? Let's develop the area.
I like that we're developing the area and we're making this into a futuristic San Antonio and all that stuff. I hate the argument where it's like we have to build this stuff to keep him.
Yeah.
That's so stupid, in my opinion. We're not spending, it's not my money. It doesn't matter to me. Except for my tax dollars, but whatever. They're not building a $500 million training facility and park in the Rock up at La Cantera to keep Victor Wembanyama. They're not building what would probably be a multi-billion-dollar venture in downtown San Antonio just to keep Victor Wembanyama. Mm-hmm. They're building it to bring San Antonio into the future, to keep their team, to make this more than market 32, which we are right now, the 32 biggest media market in the country. They're doing this for so much more, or they want to do it for so much more than just Victor Wembanyama. And when I hear those arguments where it's like, he's not going to want to stay in San Antonio, you have no idea what he wants to do. You have no idea if he's going to want to go to the Lakers because the Lakers are the biggest team, or the Knicks, or whoever, or wherever. San Antonio is a great basketball city. It's always been a great basketball city, and it always will be a great basketball city. Building something that will invest in the future of the city is not just to keep one player. It's to keep San Antonio on the map.
Yeah, and also, just to piggyback off that, you had those people who are like, well, maybe they want to go to Austin, this and that, and they got mad when the Spurs played in Austin. But why not expand your fandom? And let's say you build a stadium, people are going to want to come from Austin to come down here. It's not a long drive. Why not, go into the future? And I think also to go off, they're not building for Wemby. They're building it just like you said for the future, but also to attract, maybe future players. If you're a free agent, and say the Spurs have money, you're a big name, are you considering San Antonio for the money? Or are you going to go to one of more kind of a well-known market? You've seen in the past the Spurs are not known to attract free agents. It is what it is. We're a small market team. And the one reason that the one main factor is why they come is because Pop. What are you going to do when Pop's gone? You got to attract people in a certain way. And Wemby's only going to get better and the Spurs are only going to go up. So why not develop up with the team?
It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me why they wouldn't. Mm-hmm. Let me rephrase. It makes sense why they wouldn't, but they should.
Yeah.
Because you need that development. The Alamo Dome is now 35 years old, I believe. I should know that. I did a story on it the other day, or a couple weeks ago. But the Alamo Dome is only degressing and getting worse, regressing. You need something new and shiny. Every single city in America that wants a professional football team, baseball team, basketball team, hockey team is building a new shiny arena. Look at what Vegas just did with this orb thing.
Yeah.
That looks like an eyeball one day and then a basketball the next. $2.3 billion. You need to spend money to make money. You need to spend money to keep your city progressing. And the mayor, I think Sakai, the county judge, all of them are very forward thinking to the point where I think they'll get it done. And this isn't going to happen tomorrow. It's not like they're breaking ground on something tomorrow.
Yeah.
But for everyone who's like, why are we spending hundreds of millions of dollars, billions of dollars on the Spurs? You're not just spending it on the Spurs. You're spending that money to bring a stadium downtown for Mad Dogs out on the Riverwalk, and for the convention center to bring more people there, for the little mom and pop taco shop down there, the margarita shop that you love to go to when you go down downtown, or even when you get off of the freeway and over on the other side, on the east side, all those little taco shops and burrito shops and mom and pop stores and corner stores, you're doing it for development of those as well.
No, and I completely agree. And, kind of another area, if you build it kind of near the Alamo Dome, but one area that's going to benefit is St. Paul Square. I mean, in the past, they've tried to develop a St. Paul Square with multiple bars, and it just fails. It's kind of just like an empty area, and which I just feel like they need to develop more. I mean, you see, Francis Bart's just moved into there, and, but you only have like 1902, which is a club over there, like Cellar, or I forgot the name of a bar, but it's kind of like a dive bar, but there's nothing over there. I mean, yeah, Smoked Sky Bar's over there, but it's just like, all right, that's cool, Ask any, local San Antonian, they kind of just say, well, there's no nightlife. Well, you build in the stadium, you build a whole district, there's going to be more nightlife. It's not a bad thing. I mean, we got to develop eventually, and people think, well, if we develop, we're going to be like Houston or Austin. No, we're our own identity. I'm sure there'll be local owners who want to move in there and get a part of it and tackle it.
It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. Every politician, whether it's city, county, state, or federal in Texas, is going to have an opinion on this. Mm-hmm. And you have to be able to see through all that. So if you're invested in the Spurs, if you're invested in San Antonio, take what some of them say with a grain of salt, and we'll see what happens, because talks are already going on behind the scenes, and I guarantee you that Peter Holt is going to do it if he sees it to be a viable business venture for the Spurs investment group. But don't worry, I'm 99.9% sure they're not moving to Austin. So, all right, real quick. This is already going a little longer than I wanted it to, but hey, Rocky's a great conversation. So let's get to the Spurs super team. We saw this on Twitter, on the tweets. If I want to sound old, it's pretty entertaining little list. So it's basically building your super team with $15. You have 5 players at $5, 5 at 4, 5 at 3, 5 at 2, 5 at 1. So for people who can't see it, I will tell you who's at each real quick. Actually, I won't tell you everybody because I'm going to get one of them wrong. So Rocky's going to help me out. $5, Tony Parker, George Gervin, Kawhi Leonard, Tim Duncan, David Robinson. Obviously, 5 best players in franchise history. So,
yeah.
Oh, actually, don't come at me right now, poor Vita. Kawhi Leonard, I don't think is top 5 in Spurs history, but he is a great player nonetheless. Okay, don't come at me right now. Manu, DeJounte Murray, DeMar DeRozan, LaMarcus Aldridge, and
Artis
Gilmore. 4. See, I need you to help me out. $3, Avery Johnson, Sean Elliott.
I think that's Terry Cummins and Alvin Robinson.
And then Dennis Rodman.
Uh-huh.
$2, Vinny Del Negro.
Michael Finley, Bruce Bowen, Boris Diaw, and Jakob.
Thank you. And $1, Patty Mills, Danny Green. Looks like
Kyle Anderson,
Keldon, and Tiago Splitter. Tiago. I'll give you mine real quick. Give me Timmy all day, every day. Twice on Sunday. Give me Manu. So that's $5 and $4. That's $9.
Yes, sir.
Give me Sean Bradley. That's $12.
Sean Bradley or Sean Elliott?
Sean Elliott, sorry.
I was like, what?
Give me. I'm looking at all these players and their names are meshed together. Give me Sean Elliott, $3. So that's 12. And then give me Patty, because everyone loves Patty Mills. And I have $2 left, so give me Jakob. So Jakob, Timmy, Sean, Patty, and Manu. GOAT status.
See, this is why we're friends, because we have the exact same
Do
list.
we really?
And I swear on everything.
Let me see your paper here.
Matt's looking. It's a lot on top. And I wrote the exact same thing.
Hell yeah!
and I mean, yeah, because the way I think of it, I kind of thought of it. I was like, man, is there a way I can, do the Twin Towers with Tim and David? And there is a way. I mean, you do Tim, David, and then you throw in, let's say, Sean Elliott, and then, but I mean, just I don't know.
I was kind of thinking that. I was thinking, give me Tim and David, $5 each, and then give me Patty, Danny Green, and Sean Elliott.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad thing because I mean, you got the rim protected, and Sean Elliott, he's a defensive guy, and he's got Danny. He's got to hope Danny's hitting the shots because he's a sweet guy. But I just love Patty, just having him there. But I think if I had to change the $2 one, it was kind of a toss up. I would do Boris because I'm just a big Boris Diaw fan.
I almost chose Boris.
Yeah, and I mean there's endless ways. I mean, I also thought about Kawhi and Tim, or George and Tim, but I mean there's just endless ways. I just think it's real fascinating to do.
To me, I think that Tim's non-negotiable.
Oh yeah,
Tim's on the team no matter what. My thought was I need Manu, and not I need David, and maybe that's just me being younger than Don. Because I know Don would say he needs the Twin Towers. Mm-hmm. But when I was talking to Don yesterday, he's like, I need $25 to make this team. And I was like, why? Because you just want everyone on the top row? He's like, no, sorry, $24. F Kawhi.
Hey, I mean, but if you look at all time, man, you can have Twin Towers, George, Manu, and then maybe Tony. That's all the time.
I mean, yeah, I'll take that 10 ways to Sunday, man. So. All right. Well, that was a extremely long version of Sneakers and Cleats podcast today, but we had so much to talk about, man. There's a lot going on. By the time this comes out, we'll be in a couple of hours, so hopefully Zack Martin doesn't sign his contract by then. So a quick reminder, you can get this podcast wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. Please download, subscribe, rate, review, and then if you want to, unsubscribe, resubscribe, re-rate, re-review, give us a 5-star rating and some feedback. Feedback is a gift, as Chad Millman always says. We will be back on Monday, I believe, is when we're going to record for a full Dallas Cowboys training cramp. Oh gosh, I really need to just get off air right now. I am living on fumes. Training camp preview as they get started next week. And then on Thursday, we're going to have Zach Hedrick there. He's going to join us for a little bit as well. He's going to be our Dallas Cowboys insider. But Rocky, any parting words?
Make sure you get a hot dog today. Today's National Hot Dog Day.
What do you like on your hot dog?
I like mustard or ketchup. It depends. But if I'm making like a real extensive dog, chili dog easily, and maybe some Frito on top. You? I
am more of a bratwurst guy because I love a good either a hot dog or a brat with relish, sauerkraut, and a little bit of Dijon mustard on there.
Not the Bijan Mustardson?
Not Bijan Mustardson. All right, well, that's it for today. Thanks for listening to the Sneakers Complete podcast, and we will see you on Monday.